So maybe, yeah, we should hang out with Peppa Pig.
Is she offering to hook us up with Peppa?
This is a deeper listen from listener-powered KEXP. This is the show where we talk with musicians about the thoughts and the experiences that shape their music. I'm Roddy Nickpour. One of the artists that we're playing more and more of on KEXP is the band Artificial Go. That's a trio from Ohio made of Angie Willcut, Cole Gilfillan, and Micah Wu. Their offbeat vibe is nothing new to KEXP, but what is new is that the band answered some hard-hitting questions from a toddler. I'll let Dusty Henry take it from here.
Hailing from Cincinnati, Ohio, Artificial Go makes fun music in, let's face it, not so fun times. The group started up last year in 2024 as they were putting together their debut album, Hopscotch Fever.
Walk like a dog, playing hooky boogie, high ho feeling low, using a walkie-talkie.
The band's blend of riffs, danceable rhythms, and faux British accents has made them one of the most exciting groups on the scene. During their live shows, singer Angie Willcut wears a marching band uniform and will literally march around the stage and audience. This idea and aesthetic is central to their sophomore album, Musical Chairs, which came out earlier this year.
All I see is cement, all I see is aluminum, all I see is broken glass, all I see is plastic, all I see is pesticides, all I see is tile, all I see is blocking my view.
Taking cues from dance music and embracing their muse, the album traverses topics from dealing with the grind of everyday life to dogs and red convertibles. The band has also earned a very notable fan, my 3-year-old daughter, Una. Case in point, for months now, we've been listening to the band's ode to dogs, Circles, almost every day.
Legs like go, kissing my tail in circles. I can't fly with no.
Since Una and I are both fans of the band, I thought I'd enlist her help here and had her write some questions for me. But before we get to that hard-hitting journalism, I had some questions of my own for the band. Could you tell me about how you all first started? And I hear your first album, Hopscotch Fever, kind of predates the band's own existence in a way. Could you talk about that?
Yeah, Artificial Go started as a recording project for fun, and we just ended up recording the whole Hopscotch Fever album at Cole's apartment, and it was after we finished the album that we decided to try to find a live band.
And what kind of brought you all together in the first place?
Micah and I were living in Lexington, Kentucky, and we met Cole at a show, and he played in Lexington. And yeah, ever since then, we just kept going up to Cincinnati to hang out. And then eventually Micah and I moved. And then one day I went over to Cole's apartment and we recorded for fun. And then we just kept coming back and recording. And it hasn't really stopped.
Put your 25 cents into the payphone to pay for some human connection.
I personally have not determined Artificial Go to be anything. It just kind of is what's coming out, I guess.
This record was a lot more of a cooperative operation, I would say. There was more jamming involved. At least a couple of the songs that we wrote were kind of just in the moment, jamming out, and then Angie would lay the vocals down, and you got a song.
Hairspray, go! Curling iron, go! Mascara, go! Artificial, go! Silicone, go!
I noticed when you perform and on the cover of the record, you kind of have this marching band aesthetic going on. You march around the room, Angie, when you perform. Can you tell me about that aesthetic and the whole marching band idea?
Yeah, so when we went on our first Artificial Go tour, Micah found the A marching band vest at a thrift store that we went to, and he hid it in the van, and so I didn't know he got it for me as a Christmas gift. And I never even told him that I had been wanting one, but it was pretty magic. And then for Christmas, he gifted me the vest, and I decided that I wanted to wear it for every show just as a uniform. And then I found the hat that goes with it, and I think my brain just really likes the uniform, so it's been fun to get into that character.
I'm curious if it ties in at all with the title of the record, Musical Chairs, or what does that title mean to you?
It's pretty just, musical chairs just playfully bouncing around. And I feel like this record, we experimented with a lot new sounds and we expanded from Hopscotch Fever. So it just felt like trying new things musically.
Like a new chair.
I guess that was the question I had was about the lyrical tone of the album. Like, I'm just so in love with this record, and like it feels so like refreshing and musically wonderful, and lyrically just like it's so upbeat. And there's, I don't know, like this balance between like the fun and playfulness and sort of like exhaustion of modern living that I feel on it that feels really resonant. Like on the opener, Lasso.
Lasso my heart tonight. I won't lose sight. Come and catch me. Let's play hide and seek.
Or the song, Yeah, Yeah, you talk about being so tired, like very relatable.
Morning alarm, wake me. I am so tired lately. No newspapers to tell me what's going on.
You know, I got this feeling of like trying to find joy in a very difficult world. And I was curious if that is like, what were some of the ideas you were playing with on the album?
Yeah, I definitely want to feel joy in the world. And to me, it feels like a fun challenge for my brain to write about things that might frustrate me or sadden me, but portray it in a light where I can reclaim it and I can have fun with it. And to me, that feels very releasing. And I think a lot of my early writing, I would talk about the same kind of things, but more just like getting it out. And with Artificial Go, I've been releasing those feelings, but trying to transform it into a positive light.
I was also reading that dance music was a big inspiration on the record, like ESG and stuff like that. Could you talk a little bit about how those influences appeared on the album?
I think we just started messing around with. Angie's got a pair of congas that she actually brought over the first time we ever jammed together, and we didn't really get much use out of them on the first record, but they appear in songs like Tightrope Walker. I guess, I don't know, we weren't really trying to recreate dance music, but that was just what I was listening to personally a lot at that time, and I still am. In our minds are trying to make dance music, but it doesn't like come out that way, or maybe it does in some moments, but I feel like the songs are more just like rock and roll songs at the core of it. But I don't know, Mike is usually playing some pretty repetitive bass lines that I feel like could be pulled from like earlier post-punk dance songs and things like that.
I thought maybe we could talk through some of the songs, I guess, in that same regard. One of my favorites is The World Is My Runway.
The world is my runway, I go my way. I do the catwalk from the shower to the bed. The world is my runway, I go my way. I wear my birthday suit to a fashion show in my kitchen.
Can you talk about that song and inspiration behind it?
Yeah, The World Is My Runway. That was a song that Micah and I wrote together one day, and he was looping guitar and bass on a looper pedal and playing the drum kit, and I was just playing with the microphone and just chanting the lyrics. And I remember we played that song, writing it together for quite some time, and it was a really fun headspace to be in, and the words came together, and it just felt like a moment of feeling a lot of love in the room.
Yeah, I really love that lyric in there. I consider kindness to be high fashion, which kind of echoes what you say later on Playing Puppets, where your sense of self is always in fashion. I really love that kind of like the theme that keeps coming up on the record.
I consider kindness to be high fashion. The world is my runway. I go my way.
Tightrope Walker was another song I really loved on the album.
Dogs on chains, cats behind the window, fish on the counter, birds in a cage, kittens in boxes, puppies for money, horses for owning, deer for aim. Humans drive cars and get stuck in traffic, honking and honking to assert dominance. How silly.
Could you talk about that song?
For me, I just think all animals, creatures on this earth, we're all the same, and we all deserve respect. And that song to me is touching on just like, I'm no better than a dog, and a dog is no better than me, vice versa. Working on that song, Cole wrote the instrumentation of that song and showed it to me, and I was sewing a pair of bloomers that looked like circus bloomers, and it really put that visual theme of a circus in my head when we were writing that together.
The closer on the record, Sky Burial, is another one of my favorite songs on the album, and it has this really cool, kind of almost ominous vibe with that driving bass line, those echoey guitar lines, and your echoey vocals. Can you tell me about that track and why you wanted to close the album on that song?
I think it made sense to close with that song because it was just such an outlier and it kind of put the album to rest at the end of it. I feel like the rest of the record is pretty like upbeat, positive sounding, and that one just kind of is about being eaten alive by birds, or not eaten alive, but eaten by birds.
A sky burial.
Yeah. So it kind of ends on, more of a downer note, but it felt right to put that one last. I don't know.
And that was the first song that we wrote for the second album as well, which is kind of funny because it sounds like way different, but it's the first one.
My daughter, she's about 3.5, and she is a big fan. She's told me a few times Artificial Go is my favorite band. We listen to Circles a lot, and another song which will be referenced. But I asked her if she would write some questions, and she dictated these to me this morning before school. I'd love to ask them to you if that's all right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we would love that.
That was all softball questions. This is where we really get into it.
The gotcha journalist.
Yeah. She's a harder interview than me. These are Una's questions. Again, she dictated these. First question, why do you only want a red convertible?
Nobody has a red convertible. I want to drive a red convertible. Nobody has a red convertible. I want to drive a red convertible.
My favorite color is red. And if I did drive a convertible, I would want red because every day I like to wear the color red. So the convertible would match all of my outfits.
Great. Thank you. Why do they talk about dogs in circles?
Tongue out, panting like a Pomeranian. Stride wide like a Doberman. Smelling smells like a beagle. Licking skin like a Labradoodle. Shaking in my boots like a Chihuahua.
I think dogs are fun, and I was just thinking about dogs and how they're all just very We're kind of like dogs ourselves. We're all kind of the same.
Chasing our tails.
Yeah.
Her next question is, why do they don't want periwinkle?
I don't want indigo. I don't want purple. I don't want periwinkle.
Here's a hard hitter.
You're not getting away that easy.
Because it wouldn't be a red convertible, so periwinkle wouldn't match my red outfits as good as a red convertible.
Fair enough. We'll see if that suffices. Her next question is, why they don't want gray and why they don't want blue either.
I don't want gray.
Gray is a sad color. That's a boring color. Yeah. And blue's bluey. We're ready. Yeah.
Well, which leads us into her last question, which is, Peppa Pig has a red convertible.
Oh, so maybe, we should hang out with Peppa Pig.
It's more of a comment than a question, but
Is she offering to hook us up with Peppa? Is that...
she kind of just left it that way. Peppa Pig has a red convertible.
Sounds like we should ride with him.
I want to try a red convertible.
I appreciate you answering them. I'll get back to you if they suffice. You might have some follow-ups.
Sounds good.
One question we always end our interviews with on A Deeper Listen and Sound of Vision is, what's an artist or song that you're loving right now? It could be new or old or just anything that you're vibing with right now.
Famous Mammals. They're sick. That's about it for me.
Comments for poets. Comments for poets. Comments for poets. Comments for poets.
Takat. It's members of the African band Mdu Mokhtar. They just played live in our hometown and they were incredible.
We just played a show with a band in Denver called Pink Lady Monster, and they put on an incredible live show, and at the end they had a puppet that Simone had built, and I really loved the aspect of incorporating visual art into their set, and I've been thinking about that set for the last 2 weeks.
I appreciate you all so much taking the time to talk with me, to answer my daughter's questions, and congrats on the record.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And tell your daughter we say hello.
Thank you. Thank you, the first girl, for answering questions for me.
And that was A Deeper Listen. No matter what color convertible you drive, please leave us a review of this podcast wherever you're listening to it. And next time you play musical chairs, tell your friends in real life about this podcast. It's a huge help. Huge thanks to our donors who make a monthly contribution, making shows like this possible in your podcast feed every week, giving you a laugh and discovering new music along the way. We know it means something to you, so if you're not already donating, please consider becoming a monthly donor by going to kexp.org/deeper. Of course, thanks to Dusty Henry and his daughter for keeping the Watchdog journalism alive, and also to Matt Ogaz for mastering this episode. I'm Roddy Nickpour, thanking you for taking a deeper listen. Take care.